are all in the search for true happiness. But in reality, our search should be for our life purpose and finding our unique talent to serve others, because with that comes true happiness. My guest on today's show is Dr. Deepak Chopra, the renowned author and speaker. He will be with us talking about finding your purpose, serving others, and happiness. And we'll return with him in just a moment.
What would you do if you had to choose between the buffalo and the giraffes? Between a flower or an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree and a 1,000,000-year-old beach? Between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Would you make the right choice? Would there be a right choice? Now there's a way to help, not just one, but all these things. Earthshare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with. Ask your employer about workplace giving.
And we're back with my guest for today's show, Dr. Deepak Chopra. Dr. Chopra is author of 25 books. His latest book, How to Know God, is out now. He is also the author of over 100 audio and video programs, including 5 that are critically acclaimed in public television. He has also got these books translated into over 32 different languages, and he was awarded in 1999 by Time magazine the award for the Icon and Hero of the Year, for the actually Hero of the Century, and they actually called him the poet philosopher of alternative medicine. Now he is the CEO and founder of the Chopra Center of Wellbeing here in La Jolla, where we're actually filming. Welcome to the show, Dr. Chopra.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. One thing on a personal note I wanted to let you know is I've been a fan of yours for a very long time, and you've helped change my life in many ways, and you've kind of jump-started my spirit, and I wanted to thank you for this time.
No, thank you. Thanks.
One of the things that you talk about a lot is human potential. And I think for a lot of people from many different walks of life, they have a very difficult time really realizing the unlimited possibilities of human potential. Would you be able to explain why you believe that exists for all of us?
Well, the potential exists in your soul, in your spirit, not in your mind, not in your physical domain, but in a domain of awareness that is infinite and unbounded. And it's your own spirit. It's the place where you have inspiration and insight and intention and imagination and intuition and decision making and free will and creativity and understanding and meaning and purpose. So beyond the corridors of your mind, there is this field of pure potentiality, and it's your own soul, it's your own spirit. From here, you can create anything that you want. Anything that the human mind can imagine is possible, and even beyond that, more is possible. And this is part of the wisdom tradition of every culture. It's there in the Bible when Jesus Christ says, right, the kingdom of heaven is inside you, same thing. Or ask and you shall receive. That's the intuitive response that allows us to access this field of creativity.
Do you think that a lot of people have a hard time grasping unlimited potential in themselves because they don't actually know themselves? They haven't gotten to know who their spiritual self is?
Yeah, that they haven't spent any time with themselves, and also I think we are programmed in this society anyway.
Yeah.
People are programmed by the culture and by their parents to believe that they have limited potential. All the messages we hear in our childhood play like muffled tape loops in our mind all the time.
Right. In the Western world you mentioned, do you think it is harder in the Western world for us to do that because of the way we've been raised and the way society talks to us like that?
It's true everywhere. It's true in the Eastern world also.
Is it?
I mean, there are a few luminaries in every culture who have said from time to time that the field of human potential is infinite. But the vast majority of people are indeed programmed to believe that they only have limited potential.
So when we do find out who we are as our spiritual self, we do start to be able to believe that that vastness is out there and we're part of it.
Yeah, that vastness, as I said, is part of the spiritual domain, and that level of awareness has three components. First, there's your soul. Then there's the collective unconscious, which Carl Jung spoke about, which is our spiritual inheritance, where we have access to all the great masters of history. And then there's a universal domain, which is the immeasurable potential of everything, all that was, all that is, and all that will ever be.
And they all operate in the same time, too. Well, actually, time doesn't exist,
Time
right?
doesn't exist at that domain. Time exists only in the mind.
Do you believe that when we know who we really are, our purpose comes to be very aware, comes to be known to us?
Yeah, I would say that if you sit down, close your eyes, and quieten your mind and ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? What's my purpose? If you just ask those three questions, the answers will spontaneously emerge. If you do spend time, though, in quietness, then that happens.
Now that's something we don't get a lot of time to do. We don't make a lot of time to do.
Yeah, meditation has been part of the teaching of every wisdom tradition, though, in the world. And, again, in the Judeo-Christian tradition, be still and know that I am God. So if you are able to sit quietly, close your eyes, watch your breath, or repeat a phrase like, the Lord is my shepherd, or thy will be done, then by and by your mind gets quiet and then it becomes completely still. In that stillness, you can eavesdrop on the mind of the cosmos, if you will, the mind of the universe. Here at the Chopra Center, we teach something called primordial sound meditation, which is a very specific way of quietening the mind using ancient sounds called mantras that are based on the date of your birth and the place of your birth.
So everybody has a different sound?
Well, there are different sounds for most people. There are over 108 different sounds that are specific to the latitude, the longitude, and the time, the space-time event that's your birth. Yeah.
And this is a method that really works for the general public.
Yeah, lots of people come here to the center, and we offer courses in this every week, and we have teachers now throughout the world teaching this form of meditation, which is not an improvised form. It's very ancient, has several thousand years of history.
Right. It's worked for thousands of years, so it'll work for us today too.
It's like a well-trodden path.
Right, right. Now that would be the first step then for us to know, first of all, quiet ourselves, meditation.
Right.
And meditation, can it start with a few minutes a day and it expands into whatever works for you? Is that how it is?
Yeah, generally though, to be effective, it should be about 20 minutes.
Per day?
Twice a day.
Twice a day?
Yeah.
Better in the beginning of the day and then the end of the day?
Yes, early in the morning and then about late afternoon.
I know personally to meditate for myself, the only time I get raising a family and that kind of thing is to grab it the very first part of the day.
Yes.
And that's when I'm freshest anyway.
Yeah,
so.
and then if you do it late afternoon, then you're fresh again for the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
Because meditation lowers your stress hormone levels, it gives you deep rest, and as you know, if you're deeply rested, then you feel very dynamic.
Oh, sure. Yeah. One of my favorite laws of the universe is the Law of Dharma, and if I may quote this, I'd like to quote it. Everyone has a purpose in life, a unique or special talent to give to others. And when we blend this unique talent with service to others, we experience the ecstasy and exaltation of our own spirit, which is the ultimate goal of all goals. Can you explain that a little bit about how that works?
Well, every child that is born has a couple of unique talents or unique gifts. Mm-hmm. What we do as a society and as parents is that we frequently focus on the weaknesses and not on the strengths. For example, if your child is weak in mathematics and good at music, then you usually get him a math tutor, not a piano teacher. And if you did, in fact, focus on the strengths and not the weaknesses, then that same child might become a very great musician, and he could easily hire an accountant to do his math for him. What we do, though, is just the opposite. We focus on the weaknesses and not on the strengths. If you look at children and what they really enjoy doing, when do they do something that is almost playful, and they playfully express their talents. So each of us has a unique gift and a unique way of expressing it. And when we express our unique talents in our unique way, then one of the symptoms is that we lose track of time. We're having such a good time, it's not even work, it's play. So again, if you could sit down, close your eyes, quieten your mind, and ask yourself, if I had all the money in the world and I had all the time in the world, what would I do? Well, that's your unique expression. That's your song. And when you're singing your song and helping other people as well, then you're practicing the Law of Dharma.
So that's what the Chopra Center for Wellbeing is for you.
Absolutely.
Right. And one aspect for me is this show.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
And one thing that I also wanted to let the public and the audience know is that everybody has at least one of those purposes. And the thing about it is when you experience that joy, you feel unstoppable.
Unstoppable. And it can be anything. If it's traveling, you love traveling, then you should work in a travel agency. If you love food, create a restaurant. Whatever you love, use that to help other people.
Right.
The best way to get what you want is help other people get what they want. And you do that by singing your song.
Right. And when you're singing your song, you're also instrumental in making them realize that, hey, they can do that too. If she can attain that, he can attain that. You're also and I think this with you, you're a leader in showing the world that, hey, this is what I am supposed to do. I'm not any different than you. I'm not any different than any of you, and we all have that potential.
Right.
We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, I've got a couple more questions for you. So we'll be right back in just a second.
Brian's a student that I had in my resource class. Came from a very poor background. Brian just needed a friend, so we paired him with a community leader. He would take him to rodeos, and then he would take him to plays and different things that this child would never have been exposed to. This man taking his time to come and have lunch with him meant more than anything.
Point a kid in the right direction. This is General Colin Powell of America's Promise. Call us and help keep America's Promise.
And we're back with Dr. Chopra. The next question I have for you is, I read an interview where you said that you believe the state of poverty and wealth were a state of consciousness. And kind of continuing on with our question that we were talking about, if you're following your life purpose, are you going to be in the state of consciousness of wealth automatically? Is it going to be a natural?
Yeah, wealth consciousness is a state of awareness where you don't worry about money, because you know that the source of well-being and the source of wealth and the source of economic freedom is within you. It's the source of everything else. And being pure potentiality, there's an infinite supply of it. So if there's an infinite supply, if you knew that you had, X billion dollars in your bank, you wouldn't be worried.
True.
So, but you do.
Right.
And you do have it all in your own consciousness. When you worry about money, then it doesn't matter how much actual money you have in the bank, then you're a poor person. So, if you're thinking about it all the time, if it's a source of concern, if you're worried what will happen to your bank balance when the stock market crashes, if you are constantly concerned about paying your bills, then actually it doesn't really matter the physical amount of cash you have. You're still a poor person because your state of consciousness is one of concern. So it's a state of awareness. Now when you don't have that concern because you know there's an infinite supply and that you're singing, there's a poem by Rumi, who's one of my favorite poets. He says, I want to sing like birds sing, not worrying who hears or what they think. When you're expressing your unique abilities in your unique way and you're at the same time of service to your fellow human beings, then where it comes from, there's always more coming. When we do projects here sometimes, we don't even look at how much money there may or may not be in the cash supply.
Right.
The money will come from wherever it is in the moment. And where is it in the moment? It's in the universe. In every seed there's the promise of thousands of forests. Every seed has the promise of thousands of forests. If you look at nature, nature is lavishly, extravagantly, wastefully abundant.
That's right.
And that's God's mind, if you will, or the mind of the universe. When we align our mind with that mind, then there's no dearth of abundance. But again, remember the rule. The rule is if you want to make money, then you have to help other people make money. Whatever you do, whatever you want in your life, if you want success, you have to make other people successful. If you want love, you have to make other people feel loved. If you want respect, you have to make other people feel respected. If you want money, then you have to help other people make money.
So you're always being of service.
You're always being of service. That's circulation.
So nobody should ever have a personal consciousness of poverty if they are following the true law of Dharma. They're following their song.
That's right.
Why does it happen that we have a problem?
Always think in terms of giving. Human beings are meant to serve, to give, to love, and if you just have those as your main priorities, then you'll never have to worry about anything.
So why do we worry?
Again, it's the hypnosis of social conditioning.
And social conditioning is telling us that this is what's important out here: the best car, the best looking wife, the best house. And
if you look at what people really want,
right,
and ultimately, they'll say, I want money, I want a nice car, I want a house. Well, that's a means to something that they're really seeking. And what are they really seeking? They're seeking peace of mind, harmony, love, and laughter. Peace, harmony, laughter, and love are the goals of all other goals. So you say, you want a nice job. Why do you want a nice job? I want money. Why do you want money? I want this. I want this. Why do you want that? I want to be happy. Well, find the happiness within first, and then everything else will come.
So simple that it seems hard.
Well, again, it's part of the teaching, even in the West. Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all else shall be added.
Right.
Spontaneously. Now, this kingdom of heaven is not, something there.
Yeah.
It's just a state of consciousness,
And
which is intrinsic, which is primary, which is your essential state, which is before everything else.
First, bottom line. Now, you live the Law of Dharma because you're fulfilling your life purpose with the center, the books you write, etc.
I'm having a good time.
You're having a good time at the same time. I could tell you're
Right.
happy. Now, are you going into another stage? I read somewhere that you're possibly going to be doing something else. You have another purpose in mind, or you're going to be doing a different. What
Well,
kind
we
of
are
plans do you have?
starting a multimedia company that will have an interactive website. We'll have a film division where we'll make documentaries on the subjects we talk about, music and publishing. So we're combining everything, and of course we have the Chopra Center where all of it becomes really practical. So it's not theoretical anymore. We have a website now,
Right.
thechopra.com, www.chopra.com.
Right.
We have an interactive website called howtoknowgod.com, where people can actually come to the website with a problem and find the tools to solve the problem themselves.
How do they solve the problems themselves?
If they come to the website, they are taught how to access their intuition, how to access their creativity and vision. So the answer to every problem that exists, the solution to it is within you. You just need to learn how to access that part of yourself. And that's one of the things we do on this howtoknowgod.com site. It's free. And we also have dialogues here at the Chopra Center, at least once or twice a month, which we announce on the chopra.com website. And we invite famous people to come and speak here and engage with us in a dialogue. And it's also free to the public.
Now you also have chat rooms, and you have something that
Yes,
you do on a
we do
regular
chat
basis.
rooms. We answer questions on the site every day. But the dialogues are live over here.
Right.
People will come from all over the world to engage in those dialogues, and as I said, they're open to the general public. You just have to come.
So this multimedia business that's the future for you is more of a hands-on way of people not having to necessarily come here, that they can be in their home, they can be in
it'll be
China,
more
it can
than
be
a
anywhere.
business. It'll be worldwide. It'll be more than a business. One of the goals we have is to show people the means to heal the ecosystem, ecology. It's a priority for us to make people aware of that, and also the elimination of poverty from the world, economic freedom.
Now I heard that was also a goal of yours,
Absolutely.
almost specifically,
Right.
and that is training other people to realize.
Yeah, we'll do it through the website. Yeah.
So the website is the key.
One of the components, there's everything has a role. The web is a great place to connect people at the global level. We are moving slowly beyond national boundaries into a global society and a global culture, and beyond our tribal mind. Once we go beyond our tribal mind, we can do a lot for each other.
And the last question I have for you, I read that you said that it was very important for those of us on the path to seek people that are also on the path, and that one of the things that you, and we kind of addressed it just now, but maybe you could expand a little bit, you're going to be having authors, you're going to be having other people
Right.
that you work hand in hand that help people on the path.
Yeah, we're going to have a faculty of 50 or more experts in the mind, body, spirit area. And some of them are very well known internationally, and some are not well known, but they're very good. So we're going to champion even the people who are starting out in this field, or beginning to write books but don't have a publisher, etc.
Sure. Once again, being of service to other people, and all of us in like mind, going after singing our song together, right?
Right,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been such a pleasure to meet you,
Well,
and I
thank
appreciate
you
your
for
time.
having me.
And we'll be back in just a second.
Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Sally's having some behavioral problems.
I guess that reward system isn't working.
Well, the timeouts weren't either.
You know, parents do find that timeouts aren't...
See?
Well, you're just too lenient.
Well, you're too strict.
No, you are.
Oh, you are.
No, you are.
No, you are.
When adults don't have the answers, they can feel as frustrated as kids. ConnectForKids.org has thousands of resources for helping kids in your community. ConnectForKids.org, guidance for grown-ups.
My guest has taught us that when we find the true balance of mind, body, and spirit, find the purpose to our life, and we serve others, we find the true happiness that is meant to be ours. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We hope to see you next time. My name is Eileen Richardson with A Balanced Life. If you're interested in speaking with myself or my guest, our emails will be at the end of the show in the credits section. I wish you inspiration.